You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. This is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There she is, coming in strong, the Iron Lady. We certainly appreciate her there on the Chris Voss Show, bringing us the Chris Voss Show live to all of our listeners out there and all that good stuff. As always, folks, it's the holiday season, so make sure you give the gift of giving to inspire people, motivate people, and all that good stuff. Share the show. Tell people to go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss. The big LinkedIn newsletter, man, that thing grows like a weed, man. I didn't even know there's that many living people on LinkedIn. It seemed like it was mostly bots, but I don't know. Maybe that's a different website. You can go to the 130,000 LinkedIn group, chrisvossfacebook.com, and Chris Voss 1 on the tickety-tockety. As always, folks, for years we've been bringing you the smartest, brightest people, the people who come and share you their stories, their journeys. As Chris Voss always says, if I can refer to that in my multiple personality state, stories are the owner's manuals to life, or owner's manuals. You can get a lot of manuals. The U.S. ambassadors, astronauts, TV Pulitzer Prize winners, you name it, the list of people that we bring you is just outstanding, motivated, everything else. We bring you another gentleman today. John Lawyer joins us on the show. He's a spiritual guide and seeker, and he's also a universalist. We'll find out what that means. He's going to be talking to us about his journey from desert combat zones to a battle within himself. John Lawyer transformed from a soldier to a spiritual seeker. He acts as one of the several guides for Kishar, a nonprofit online spiritual community for people to share their journey and explore their own unique spiritual path. John is an omnist and believes in the validity of great human thought from around the world and across time. He offers individuals spiritual coaching and guidances as part of the Kishar spiritual community. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. How about you?
There you go. And do I have the pronunciation there rightly of Kishar?
We call it Kishar, but
Kishar. There we go.
Kishar.
Kishar. I like that. So give us your .coms. Where can people find out about you on the interwebs?
Sure. We're at kishar.org. It's KISHAR.org. And all of our socials are linked there. Our YouTube channel's linked there. And all of our entrances to our spiritual community are there.
There you go. So what is Kishar and what do you teach over there?
Yeah, we're an online nonprofit spiritual community, and we're essentially come one, come all, come as you are. We think that people can practice whatever spiritual belief or faith they have, or religion. It doesn't matter. We could probably have better conversations if we all talk to each other, ask questions, find better answers, and see what it's all about, and know that the universe is always changing, and that's kind of what we're all about.
You mean we have to talk to each other?
It's a crazy concept, right?
Yeah,
having a conversation.
I have to put my phone down and actually have a conversation with another person. So give us, what was your journey through life? I know you did the military and went through some things. Tell us about your hero's journey through life that got you into what you're doing now.
Yeah, I joined the U.S. Army right out of high school. I knew I didn't want to go to college. I thought it'd probably be a waste of time and money for everybody involved if I went to college. So straight into the Army, went in as a counterintelligence special agent. And that was about a year before 9/11. And then got through all my training, got to my permanent duty station in Georgia. And 9/11 happened about 6 months after that. And then obviously my life kind of took a turn. I spent 2.5 years in my enlistment in Kuwait, was there supporting troops in Afghanistan, was there for the invasion of Iraq when we launched the invasion from Kuwait. And when I was done being a soldier, I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. So I became a civilian, doing the same thing essentially for the Department of Defense, and spent 18 months in Baghdad. I spent six and a half years consecutive in Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Wow.
And doing everything from strategic counterintelligence, like big level counterintelligence, counter spy kind of stuff against foreign intelligence services, and also doing counterterrorism. And then in Afghanistan, I had a very kind of tactical asymmetric warfare mission to protect Kandahar airfield, which at the time was the busiest runway on planet Earth. Planes taking off, landing every 30 seconds. And our job, our unit's job was to keep the airfield green and running and protect people on it. And so I did that for 6.5 years consecutively. And that was kind of a unique experience being in southern Afghanistan for that long.
There you go. And you won a Bronze Star for counterterrorism options.
Yeah, I was awarded when I was a soldier. I was awarded a Bronze Star for counterterrorism ops and counterintelligence work. That's right. There
you go. And then, did you have any spiritual or religious inkling back then? Did you grow up with any?
I grew up Southern Baptist in a small town in Oklahoma, so that was conservative. My parents were pretty liberal and progressive, so that was kind of a dichotomy, right? But I wasn't overtly spiritual. I didn't really feel God in the church growing up. I wasn't on a spiritual path. In my time in the military, I was a very positive person. I kind of led with kindness. I was a very kind person, but I wasn't really on a spiritual path at all.
And then, did you go through some depression, PTSD, or I note here a swamp of sadness that you might have gone through?
Yeah, I think that, when you're doing it, I was working probably 110 hours a week, 7 days a week, for years on end. So you don't really notice you're boiling, right? Because it just comes up slowly. You don't realize you're in this pot of boiling water.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, there was this low grade trauma that was kind of this constant thing. And then there were big events like missile attacks or rocket attacks or truck bombs or, whatever it was at the time, all these big events that happen that are big traumas as well. And so but you don't see it necessarily when you're in it, right? You can just see in trees, no forest.
Plus you're in survival mode a little bit. Or
you're just
active mode, right? You're reacting.
You got a job to do. You feel it's important. I was really dedicated to my job. I believed in what I was doing. I have a lot of questions about that now, obviously. And when I came home, having spent 12 years in the desert out of 15 years, my first 15 years of my adult life, I was pretty busted. I was hurt. And when I came home, I had no identity. I didn't really know who I was outside of this big, giant military industrial complex machine that had been my life. Right. So, I had a lot of healing to do, and I didn't even really know where to start.
Wow. There you go. And so how did you find yourself in what you're doing now from that?
It took me about 7 years to kind of take time to heal and figure things out. And then about a little over 2 years ago, I had a intense moment of clarity, understanding. Someone called it an awakening. There's a lot of words for it, where I just kind of felt a oneness with the universe, with people and nature around me, with everything. And I felt like we're all saying very similar things and we should all be getting along better. I felt like I should just love my neighbor. And I also had this profound understanding that the point of my life was to help people help themselves find their wholeness within. And I said, how can I do that? I said, and I kind of had this idea to just, maybe I can create a digital spiritual community online, nonprofit. And, we can have a place where we can have authentic, meaningful conversations, much like you and I are having right now.
There you go. So you have, and it's Kishar, your website.org. How do you, I see, choose a plan on here, a mission? Tell us how this works.
Yeah. So we have a monthly subscription. You can try it out for free. And when you do pay your subscription, everything goes back into the community. We don't take salaries or anything like that.
Wow.
And so you pick a plan that kind of matches with you. We also offer individual guidance and coaching for people to, kind of know that wholeness within. Maybe they're looking to be more calm and centered in their professional life or whatever it may be. I think we could all probably use a little more calm and peace and spiritual focus in our life and help center us. And so that's what the website's all about. It explains who we are, what we do, what we're all about. It kind of talks about our journey and how we got there. And that's kind of the entry point for it.
There you go. So is it a specific religion or spiritual nature? I mean, if I'm Mormon, can I join? How does it work that way?
Anybody can join, any religion, any spiritual philosophy, atheist. described me earlier as an omnist. That's how I describe myself, a universalist.
And what does that mean?
Yeah, that basically means that I believe in the validity of pretty much all religions, all philosophies, all spiritual traditions. Like, I don't practice all of them. That would be impossible.
Yeah, that would be a bit much.
And a bit confusing, but I believe in them all.
A lot of tithing too, and a lot of
a lot of money is sent everywhere, right?
Yeah,
it's very anti-dogmatic. It's very get rid of the dogma, throw out the ecclesiastical BS, and just be yourself. Believe what resonates with you, because we all walk our individual, unique path.
Yeah.
And then within that, obviously, I believe in the validity of all this stuff, but I have my own beliefs. I resonate strongly with Hinduism. I believe in the balance of the Tao and Taoism, and I think there's some pretty great indigenous spiritual constructs and there's some Native American beliefs that resonate closely with me. I don't practice that religion. It probably wouldn't be proper even, but I can incorporate that into my own spiritual path. And I think that, spirituality is, like I said, is so different for everyone. Let's find out what works for me, what works for you. Let's talk about it. Let's have that discussion.
There you go. I'm a big believer in Dow too, the Dow Jones. Oh, I had to get that joke in there. It's lame, but it sounded fun.
I like it.
There you go. So it's basically a spiritual community where people can come together, connect, expand their spiritual horizons, find stability in day-to-day work. And how do you, if you're bringing in lots of different religions into a community, how are you, maintaining that and moderating that? Because, I've seen what that looks like sometimes, where it can get a little out of hand, where people start pushing their agendas on other people.
I find that most people that are open to a community like this are pretty open-minded anyway. And I think in this digital age, I think people are understanding they can have a belief system that they believe in or were raised with, or that resonates with them. And they can see that there's other things out there that are very similar to it. So we don't tend to get many people that are tied to the rules and dogma of their religion, bringing it with them. It doesn't happen that often. And if it does, it's just polite, a polite, hey, don't, just kind of play nice, let's, and there's, I think that it takes a lot to say, I'm going to go be part of an open mind community. Most people that do that and that's one reason that it's a nonprofit, but we still have a monthly subscription, because I think that also means you've got buy-in to it. You're not there to troll, or you're not there to make noise. You're there to make a difference for yourself, probably.
There you go. And so it sounds like people that are kind of still open-minded, seeking, improving, trying to learn more about everything. I'm an atheist. I learned a long time ago, or I decided a long time ago, maybe it was that, life is tough, and the universe is a survival game. That's really what it is. It's survival of the fittest. And if you haven't seen Animal Kingdom lately, go watch it. And we like to think as human beings, we're more evolved and more above that, but we're really not. We're biologically programmed, designed to breed and propagate the species. Everything we're designed to do is to facilitate, that, making sure that it survives or not. We seem to be doing good at that too. We can drop a nuke and just call it a day, and Mother Earth will be like, those idiots, but she'll at least be rid of us. So I kind of determined that, hey man, life is hard, it's challenging, it's tough, it's scary. People have to square the, what happens after you die sort of thing, and why are we here? I'm pretty sure snakes aren't wandering around going, why am I a snake? And where's the great snake in the sky? And why do I like rats? This seems stupid. I'd rather have steak or something, They don't, we're one of the few species who's somehow got this anal ability to contemplate bullshit and try and figure it out. And everybody else is just kind of on their own agenda, where it's like, I don't know, man, we know our purpose. I don't know what you guys' problem is, but you guys are nuking the planet, so have fun with that. But I just kind of realized people need to get through life with whatever sort of log they need to hold on to. But understanding the universe, understanding what goes on. Some people go, well, you're an atheist, so you're not spiritual. I'm not. And I'm like, I drink lots of spirits on Friday night. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but that's a joke, people. But so what is the difference between spirituality, art, science, philosophy, religion, and self-help?
Yeah. Well, I love that you asked that question then, because I was actually, based on your conversation just then, like I think that's an appropriate place to go.
I'm good at the
I think that there are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're good at it.
I've done this once or twice.
Yeah, you've been doing this a while. I think they're all the same thing, Chris. I don't think there's a difference. I don't think there's a millimeter difference between any of those.
Really? Okay. So they're all the same?
I think that people who are studying philosophy, science, art, religion, and spirituality, I think they're all informative of one another. They're all very much almost circular Venn diagram. And I think that one of my favorite things to talk about when I talk about that is I'll talk about Max Planck. And, quantum physics is so hot right now. It's everywhere, right? But, Max Planck was the father of quantum physics. And he has a quote, I forget the exact quote, but I'll kind of paraphrase it, where he says, science knows that consciousness exists. It kind of acknowledges that. But science can't get behind consciousness. But everything that they see in quantum physics and science is that consciousness exists, and that matter, our existence, probably sits on top of some type of consciousness. And so I think from a scientific perspective, we can keep studying that. And if we're studying it from a scientific perspective, trying to figure it out, then study it from a philosophical perspective, from metaphysical, from a spiritual perspective. Because if you look at the advancements that we've had in science, I mean, I was reading a Cambridge book the other day on some woman who was a 17th century philosopher. In the intro, these two Cambridge professors were talking about how the occult and metaphysics and alchemy and all that led to scientific advancements. All this stuff plays off each other. And so I don't know that spirituality is just spirituality. I don't know that spirituality and what I believe as far as being centered in the universe and this oneness with everything, that could just be physics, right? I don't know.
There's a math to the universe. So
it's a language, right?
There seems to be some sort of, tying theme there.
Symmetry, right?
Yeah. Or, it seems to, I don't know, it has some sort of consistency to my understanding. I'm not a scientist, clearly, folks, so don't start a cult.
Me either.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you started one, but I'm just kidding. It's not a cult. It's a community.
I'll take that. That's okay.
As long as you don't serve Kool-Aid, we're all good. We actually
bring your own beverage.
We had a guy on the show actually a month or so ago. Really nice guy. He wrote a book, and his family had almost gone to Jonestown, and he had his mother had a big breakup with the Jonestown preacher, so they didn't go. But he lost, I think it was 37 or 42 relatives to the Jonestown thing. So jokes about coal aside, but people need something to believe in. I think they need to, I get that moral thing that people throw at people who are atheists like myself, and they'd be like, well, you don't have anything to believe in, so you're just probably out murdering, raping, and killing all day long. And well, I am. I still have a core principle. Well, I still have a core principle of who I kill. No, I'm just kidding. But they what is it? Do unto others as you should do unto them. Golden rule. I've read the Bible. Yeah. There are lots of great points in the Bible. I've read a few other good tomes. There are lots of good advice in all those tomes.
Yeah, I mean, I did a YouTube video just the other day on the golden rule across all the different religion and spiritual and philosophical constructs. It's pretty interesting, actually. But yeah, I would say that if I had to say one thing to people, and as far as this part of our conversation goes, I would say, if you're going to believe anything, believe in yourself.
There you go.
Love yourself. Take the best thing we can do, the least selfish thing that we can do in this world, in this universe, is love ourselves first, take care of ourselves. Because if we don't do that, we're not good to anyone else. We're not good to the world around us. We're definitely not good to ourselves. And so love yourself, believe in yourself. Like from my perspective, I don't believe in some like anthropomorphic God, like some humanoid God. Like I just think we're just the universe. Not something. I just think we are the universe. Like whatever the universe is, I think we are that. And I am God. You're God. We're all that. Like we're all connected. And so love yourself, respect yourself, and believe in yourself. That's my message. If I had to boil it down.
There you go. So when people they come into your community, how do they interact? Do you guys have like events and get-togethers? How does your community work? I see it's built on the mighty what is it called? The Mighty
Networks platform.
The Mighty Networks platform. So, there's an app that people can utilize. People love apps.
They love apps. Yeah. It can be used on desktop, web, or you can use it on mobile app. And basically, we have daily meditations. We have weekly Zoom calls where we have spiritual roundtable conversations and just have conversations and discussions like this. And we also have journaling prompts. We have daily just discussions. Like, hey, let's talk about this. What does this mean to you? And we'll just have conversations. And it's a place where it's not Instagram, it's not Facebook. It's kind of walled off, right? So you've got this more like intentional community. And so, yeah, we've got weekly events, we've got daily things that we do, and it's just a space for someone to kind of be more centered and grounded. And for me, we're not all going to go live in the Himalayas and chant Om and live in a monastery, right? So
why not?
I mean, you can. Most of us aren't, right? We're going to live in the real world.
Sure.
So in knowing that, we also really focus on lifestyle stuff. How are you sleeping? How you eating? What's your nutrition like? Like that lifestyle overall wellness is a huge part, in my opinion, in our community's opinion, of spiritual. Because like you can't really be a spiritual being if you're not centered and grounded and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, is your house clean? Is your car clean? Is your workspace clean? Are you living this? Or are you disorganized and living in chaos? What's going to happen when that happens? You're going to live chaos, right? So
there you go.
That
sound
lifestyle
like it's a bad thing.
No, it's okay. I mean,
I'm supposed to clean. What?
Yeah, right.
I'm a single
So
guy.
it's also very much an overall. Let's live in the real world and have wellness and health, and that's a huge part of it as well.
There you go. So this is really interesting. People can commune with each other. Do you guys do Zoom calls or anything, or is it mostly?
Yes,
so you do that, and so people can explore. Maybe maybe they find something else they want to believe in, or kind of expand their knowledge, discussion, all that sort of good stuff. I think it's do you feel like we're living in a world now where, I don't want to say like we're some sort of god. I don't want to go on a preacher rant. We're godless, dead nation with no spirituality. Do you find that? Do you think that we're lacking a lot of spirituality? I mean, we don't want to lean on a certain religion here, but people just being spiritual within themselves, or feeling like they have a purpose, or feeling like they have meaning.
I think that as a society, I call this thing, there's this like stream of unconsciousness, right? Where we're told to do this, we're told to do that. We're told what we should be by our parents, our teachers, our coworkers. We're told all this stuff, right? I think what it is, Chris, is I think there's a lack sometimes of stepping outside that stream of unconscious and thinking, who am I? What am I? What do I believe? What are my values? What am I centered on? And I think that I think there's a lack of that sometimes. And I think that it's just a matter of being more aware of that. So I think that's an incredibly important observation. I also want to caveat that with, I have great hope in humanity. I have great hope in where we're going. I think that our mind and ego have kept us alive for thousands of years. And in doing so, they have a tendency to focus on stuff that can hurt us or harm us. So they tend to focus on the negative, and we tend to let it happen. So if we're not aware and intentional about how we're listening to our mind and ego, it's just going to tell us all this negative stuff.
Yeah.
So we have to be really careful about, and you see that in the news, you see that in social media. So you have to be aware of what you're consuming, because you're already prone to think that the world is going to hell in a handbasket.
The world is going to hell in a handbasket. That was our first choice for the podcast title of the podcast. That was pretty much it. So there was that. But I think it's good that there's spirituality out there. I think a lot of people are lost today now more than ever. They see what's going on in the world, the chaos. And, I think some people over COVID, they kind of started reanalyzing stuff and reanalyzing, what does life mean, et cetera, et cetera. You talk about something called the stream of unconsciousness. What is that? Explain that to us.
Yeah, it's this pull. It's very comfortable. It's what we've always done. Go to school, get a job, go to college, get married, have kids, stuff that, we're obviously going to do, the stuff that humans have always done. But I think that it's this conditioning we have. It's this stuff that, like I said, we don't get creative. We don't think about like I could ask someone, hey, what's your higher purpose? And they might be like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, no, what do you want Earth to do? What do you want to do? Like, what's your passion? What's your, and can you tell me that? A lot of people can't. And then if you can tell me that, like, what are you doing to live that? Well, how do you align that purpose that you think is your purpose with your daily life? I think the stream of unconsciousness is this thing that it just kind of pulls us along. It can be warm and comfortable at times. It can be an okay place to be. But I think that we can kind of, like I said, take a step out of it and think, what do I want in life? Like, where do I want to go? Like, maybe, I think we're capable of doing whatever we want to do, being whatever we want to be. I don't mean that from a systemic perspective. I don't deny that the system keeps some people in a place and it's hard to get out of. But as an individual, each of us can walk out of our pain and suffering. We can walk out of whatever's holding us back, because that's the way our system is built. One person can walk out and make a difference in themselves and where they want to be in the world.
Most definitely. It's an interesting journey. I mean, so many people seem to be lost. They worship money. There's the Instagram sort of, they worship everything. They worship whatever crap's going on there. There's, everybody's faking it till they're making it and stuff. And it's just a crazy time. It's a crazy time. So any final thoughts that we have on what you guys do? Pitch it out to us for people on board with you and how they can get involved.
Yeah, I'd say that, there's anybody can be more calm. They can be more centered, whole inside. You have light, whether you realize it or not. And think about where you're at in life and what you want out of it. Take care of yourself, love yourself, be patient, have grace for yourself. Know that we don't have to chase perfection. Like, it's going to be okay. The universe might be perfect inside somewhere, but in this real world, we're not going to be perfect. That's all right. And I think that's the message.
There you go. And you can join a great community online for spiritual community. And we probably need more focus on that. I do a thing every Sunday where I do Gratitude Sunday, and most of the day is designed towards appreciating what I have, organizing my archives. I go out to have a good dinner every Sunday to just celebrate myself and also just kind of reward myself for getting through the last weekend. And it's kind of a calm before the storm thing, because Monday turns into Monday and you got the week, and so it's kind of like a final. It's a last meal. It's a calm before the storm, but the Sunday is usually a day for me to get into state where I can be grateful for everything. I can relax. It's a day of rest, which is ironic because I'm not religious, right? Everyone's like, Sunday is a church day, and I believe that you do need to have a day of rest. So even though I'm a godless, heathen, murderous, Satan worshiping atheist, I believe in a day of rest. So there you go. Give us the .com one more time as we go out, John.
Yeah, it's kishar.org, KISHAR.org.
There you go. Thank you for coming on, John. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we've enlightened people and motivated them to want to do better with their life.
Definitely, Chris. Appreciate you having me on.
There you go. And Vincent says, so true. And what was the website again? Let's see. When did that come in? That came in at 11:35. So I think you should have it there. I think we gave it just as he was sending the note. So thank you, Vincent, for calling in there. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss, one of the TikTok, and Chris Voss, Facebook.com. Thanks for being here. We'll see you guys next time.